the Titans, the division is ours. I don't care what Houston did yesterday. They're going to go get their Letterman jackets again. The Indianapolis Colts are 2-6 against the Titans since Pat McAfee came up here and did his wrestling announcement. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, they haven't had back-to-back winning seasons since I was a senior in high school.
What's up, Titans fans, and welcome to another edition of Titans Global Podcast. I'm your host, Maximus Titan Fan, and we're here to talk about the next game. We're done with the Saints and the disappointing outing that we had there. We're going to move past that, and we're going to talk about the Chargers. It's our first home game, so I feel like it's going to be a good outing. Also a big thing, I want to talk about in the beginning of the show is that, again, we didn't play in the preseason. So therefore we're rusty. We looked rusty. It's exactly what was going on. You know what I mean? Everybody looked terrible. It was just a bad outing. So I feel like this game is going to be kind of like our bounce back game. Now, I know we're going up against somebody in the Chargers who is a lot better than the Saints, according to the national media. However, I look at the teams as not equal, but I mean, you put Alvin Kamara back in the mix, and they are. But we didn't play against Alvin Kamara, so there you go. But as far as the passing game goes, I feel like they're pretty much the same. I don't think Eckler's going to play, and if he does, I don't think he's going to be 100%. We'll get into a little bit of that later. Just a recap of what we're doing tonight on the show. We're going over the game. I want to talk about the injury reports because I believe that they're very important to the game. The spread, what Ryan Tannehill did last week, the offense, Chargers offense, our defense, and basically what the Chargers and the Dolphins did last week, what we did against the Saints last week. Obviously, all that's going to come into play. So let's see what we've got here. All right. So first of all, as far as injury reports go, as far as the Titans, Amani Hooker, he's still in concussion protocol. I don't think he's going to play. That's just my personal opinion. That's not based on anybody's reports or anything like that because the Titans are very hush-hush on their injury reports. But I don't believe Amani Hooker plays this game. I think Molden takes his place. Although I don't think Molden plays the slot receiver position that Hooker sometimes fills that role. I feel like he's going to be the deep back safety. They're going to probably bring in either Trey Avery. They might even bring somebody up from the practice squad. I don't know. But DeAndre Hopkins, that's the biggest one for me. His ankle, he went down late in the game with an ankle injury, got tackled awkwardly. That one kind of worries me, to be honest. But we'll see. As far as the game goes, we'll see. Kristen Fulton, hamstring. To be honest, when he came back in the game, I didn't think he played very well. I don't think he was confident. So as for me, we didn't play that bad without him as far as the back end goes. So I don't think that there is any reason for us to rush him alone. Let him go ahead and heal up and then come back fully healthy. I think he was a limited participant today, so there's a chance he'll play in the game. But my opinion, I would say leave him out. Then Tier Tart, he has a groin/knee injury. And I don't know if that means he had a groin injury on Wednesday and then a knee injury on Thursday, or if that just means that both are hurt. Either way, we got enough defensive line depth. I don't see any reason in, Tier Tart is a monster. Don't get me wrong. He's a game changer, but I don't see any reason in rushing him along either. Let him go ahead and heal up. We got plenty of depth there. We can bring somebody up from the practice squad if we need to. It's fine. No big deal. Moving along. Chargers. Theirs are a little bit more interesting. Joey Bosa hasn't practiced all week. Now, when I say all week, that means Wednesday and today. I don't think he's going to play, and that is a huge bonus for us. Austin Eckler was limited participation in practice today. Did not participate Wednesday. So my call is I think he'll play, but he'll be on a limited basis. To be honest, I don't think he's going to have any kind of big impact on the game. He might have one big splash play. Other than that, I don't really think if he plays, I don't think he has a big role in the game. So that also works to our advantage. And then Kendricks was out with a hamstring. So reminiscent of that. As far as the money line goes, spread is -3 to the Chargers. So the Chargers are supposed to beat us by 3 points, but the over-under is 45 points. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. Either way, I just don't think it's going to happen. Whether we don't score enough points for it to make up, or they don't score enough points to make it up. I don't think 45 points between the two of us. I mean, that would be like 23 and 22 or something like that. I mean, I guess it's possible. I just don't see it. We're not really a high-scoring team, although they are very porous defense, so that one's iffy. I don't know that I would bet on that one. Although the -3, I would probably throw a bet on that because I think we're probably going to either win or lose by more than 3 points. I know the Titans like to keep games close, but I just don't see this one being that close. Either they're going to run away with it or we're going to beat them by at least a touchdown. I don't see it being a 3-point game. Although I could be wrong. I have been before. But that is if I was a betting man and I was going to lay a bet down on this, which I am a betting man, but I don't lay a lot of bets down, and I wouldn't bet on this game based on those numbers. As far as the last games go, Ryan Tannehill. Are we going to see a bounce back from Ryan Tannehill? Because he played extremely poorly in the first game. I've got some feedback from some fans out there that believe that Ryan Tannehill is not really at fault and that the wide receivers or the tight ends were in the wrong positions. And, I don't know the Titans offense. I haven't seen their playbook, so I don't really know if they were in the wrong places or not. However, based on the interviews that I saw and Ryan Tannehill doing his best to take accountability as best as Ryan Tannehill can. I think he's a little bit of a cocky person. And to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, I believe you have to have that kind of personality. So I don't knock him for that. I'm just saying that he took accountability in the best way he can, which was kind of brush it off and move on to next week. which is exactly what you want from your quarterback. It's just like a defensive back. You want him to have a short memory because you might need him to do something different in the next game. But he did not have good numbers. He had 16 to 34 for 198 yards and 3 interceptions. And a 28.8 rating, which is the lowest rating he has ever had since he's been a Titan. I believe it's his lowest career rating, but I know it's his lowest rating as a Titan. There's only 4 other games where he got close to that. He had a 40 rating in one game and a 38, I think, in one game. And then the other 2 games are like 60, I believe. So definitely not good play from him, period. I don't care if you want to blame it on the offensive line not giving him enough time, even though he had like 2.7, I think, 2.8 seconds average in the pocket, which is plenty of enough time in the NFL. I don't care if you want to blame it on the wide receivers or the tight ends not being in the right position. You know, I can understand maybe new offense, you know, first time Tim Kelly really unleashes his offense because they didn't really show a lot in the preseason as far as what we saw in the first game with the gadget plays and stuff like that. So, you know, perhaps, however, you can't make up for him missing 2 wide open targets on plays that were designed to make the players wide open, and they became wide open, and he missed them horribly. There is a bunch of other plays on film. I don't have any of the film ready for you, unfortunately. Sorry, I should have, but I don't. If you want to see that film, you can find it easily on Twitter. If you follow Tic Tac Titans, if you don't, maybe you should. But he has a lot of the film breakdown. Also, there's another one, Easton Freeze or might be Sal. I can't remember, to be honest with you. I'm sorry, whoever put out the other content that I saw, but there was a ton of misplays where Ryan Tannehill and a lot of Ryan Tannehill staring down his receivers, which is exactly what you don't want, especially in a veteran a veteran quarterback who has been in the game for a long time. He's 35. He's not going to get any better. So it's just frustrating to see that. But I'm hoping, in my optimistic ways, I'm hoping that this is just a product of him not playing a lot of preseason snaps, and that this is just him knocking the rust off and getting back into the groove of NFL live action, because you cannot simulate live action gameplay no matter what. So moving on to that, we're going to talk about the Chargers and what they did as far as their offense. Was pretty electric. They put up, I think, 34 points on the Dolphins in a losing effort. So that's pretty impressive. Austin Eckler had 117 yards rushing and a touchdown, 47 yards on 4 passes. Those are pretty good numbers. But again, like I said, he hurt his ankle. I don't believe he's going to be 100% even if he plays. So I'm not really worried about that. He also had a touchdown. Don't know if I mentioned that. Keenan Allen had 76 receiving yards, no touchdowns for him, but Joshua Kelly had 91 rushing yards and a touchdown. Hubert went for 23 of 33, 229 yards, 1 touchdown, and a rushing touchdown with a rating of 99.2. So not really great numbers from Hubert as far as we've seen in the past, but not terrible either. You know, their offense is electric. It's got a lot of different alleys that it can score from. It showed that off against Miami. Like I said, they lost and they put up 34 points. So the offense really isn't the problem. Their problem is defense, which we're kind of flipped. Our problem isn't the defense. Clearly, in the first game, our defense showed up. It was the offense that had the problem. So we'll get into that a little bit later. No, as a matter of fact, we're going to get into it right now. Their defense had 0 sacks on Tua, 3 tackles for a loss for the whole game. This is their whole defense, y'all. 10 passes defended. Now that's impressive. 10 passes defended. Keep that in mind. 1 interception. Okay. The Titans in their defense was 4 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 4 passes defended, not 10, 4. 1 interception and 1 fumble recovery, which really, let's be honest, it should have been 5 sacks and 2 fumble recoveries. But, whatever. I'm not a guy to harp on the past. I just like to bring it up and remind people that it should have been this way, even though it ended up this way. It should have been a fumble. Clearly was a fumble. If that's not a fumble, then we didn't fumble in the final game against the Jaguars. Just watch the tape. It's clear on the tape. It's easy to see. I don't see why no one else can see it. It's very, everybody else can see it except for the refs that were in that game. That's the frustrating part. Even Gene Steratore, who is the rules, not officiant. He doesn't have any official standing, but he was an official, and he used to hold the job in New York. And you've got this guy who's saying that this is a fumble. It's obviously a fumble. First of all, you don't whistle the play dead. But then it's an obvious fumble recovered by the offense. And they still said play stands. Anyway, we're moving on from that game. Because the defense, the point here is that our defense is way better than their defense in every stat category except pass defense. They had a lot more passes defended. So, yeah, I agree that they totally stole that. But trying to move on from that. But their defense is terrible, basically. It's very porous. To elaborate on that, the Dolphins, Tua had 466 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. This is Tua. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name right now, but y'all know who I'm talking about. This is Tua, man. I mean, yes, he's good. He's got Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, I think, had like 225 yards on 13 receptions or something stupid like that on 15 targets. So he just absolutely went off. If you had him on your fantasy squad, congratulations. Anyway, the Dolphins basically, Mozart, Raheem Mozart, who's not the best running back in the world. He's not terrible, but he's not the best. But he had 3.7 yards per carry and a touchdown. And yeah, he only had like 40-something yards or something like that. But the point is that he had 3.7 yards. What's Derrick Henry going to do? And the Saints, everybody keeps saying that the Saints are a terrible team. I don't believe so. After watching the game that I watched, I don't think the Saints are terrible. Because to be honest, like I said, our defense is probably top 10, top 15 at least. Probably more like top 5. I'm just being nice right now because we lost last week and we didn't really look good. But we're probably a top 10, at least a top 10 defense. And I mean, it's not like they ran the score up on us or anything, but let's be honest here, Titans fans. They kind of dictated the game most of the game, unfortunately. I mean, our defense held them. You know what I mean? We had, 4 sacks? Should have been 5. We had plenty of – we held the running game to I think it was like 70 yards or something like that. they had total as a team. So, I mean, we did good. Our defense showed up. Our offense did, and that was the problem. And that's what I really want to talk about is our offense. And how is it going to bounce back? And it's pretty easy. I mean, execution, first of all. I hear a lot of people complaining about the play calling, which really frustrates me as a Titans fan because they talk about Tim Kelly not running the ball with Derrick Henry, which I get. You know, I saw it too, and I even thought, why are you taking him out of the game in the first series? You know, like, why are you taking him out of the game here? That's how the play action works. That's how you set that up. You know, him and D-Hop on the field is what makes it so dangerous, especially when you add Treylon Burks and Chig. So I understand the usage of Derrick Henry. I also understand they were trying to give Tajay Spears his home game or whatever, but I think that went a little too far. But the big issue I have with people saying that they didn't use Derrick Henry enough, like keep feeding him the ball until they stop the run. Are these the same people that were complaining about Todd Downing just running the ball with Derrick Henry all the time? Is that not what we're trying to get away from? I mean, did you not see the creative play calling that I saw with the jet sweeps and the double reverse? I mean, that jet sweep double reverse to I think it was Chig. I think that was the play that Ryan Tannehill overthrew Chig by like 10 yards. But that play is just a testament of the ingenious that we're going to see throughout the season. And another thing is you saw adjustment. You saw, well, okay, well, this isn't working. Let me try this. And this isn't working. Let me try this. We probably saw way more of Tim Kelly's playbook than he actually wanted to show us. And that's because we were losing. And we didn't execute. If we were to execute better, yeah, I agree with you. Everybody keeps saying that the pass blocking was great, and they want to talk about, I even put up a post that went pretty nuts on Twitter that was saying that we had the number one guard tandem in the NFL, which is Brunskill and Peter Skoronski. And Peter Skoronski, actually, let me give a shout out here real quick, interrupt my own self, tangent. Peter Skoronski is a stud. And this is just another testament of Ran Carthon and how he's going to be a great GM for us in the future. But Peter Skoronski scored I think an 88.1, which is the sixth highest guard in the NFL. It is the highest grade of a rookie out of all the rookies, even the skill position guys. All the rookies, PFF gave him a higher grade than anybody else. And they're the number one guard tandem in the NFL. Peter Skoronski is an absolute monster. He's a beast. So glad he's on my team. All right. So now that I've said that, I also want to say that they also give him a sack in the game, and I don't really understand that. If you're watching the game and the game film, Andre Dillard, he got some praise because he got 7 pressures and 0 sacks or something like that. 23 wins on 23 pass attempts or some. I don't know what these statisticians are looking at, but they're obviously not looking at game film because I saw Dillard getting pushed around like a little girl. No offense. Maybe that was a bad term to use. I saw him getting pushed around like a wimp. Basically because and honestly, the only time he really had good blocking in the second half was because they were chipping him the entire second half. He was getting help. And the inside move on Skoronski that they call his sack wasn't really on him. And Brewer, people keep saying Brewer was blown up the whole place. No. Hubbard was bad. Dillard was bad. Yes, Brewer got blown up on a couple plays. Yes, Skoronski got blown up on a couple plays. Even Brunskill got blown up on a couple plays. But on a consistent basis, the only two linemen that were consistently bad were Andre Dillard and Chris Hubbard. And I don't know why, but for some reason, the mainstream media is giving them all the praise. You watch the film, watch the tape, tell me I'm wrong. Come back at me with some kind of good argument, and I'll agree with you, maybe. But I don't see it. Other than numbers, I don't see it. So move on to my hot takes for the game. I think Ryan Tannehill's going to have a bounce back game here, even if D-Hop doesn't play. Now, I mentioned earlier that D-Hop had an ankle injury and that he hasn't participated in either practice. I'm not really sure if D-Hop plays this game, but even if he doesn't, I still see Ryan Tannehill having a bounce back game, somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 touchdowns, maybe 1 interception, something like that. I feel like Chig's going to have a bounce back game simply because he was one of the lower scored players on our offense, and I think that's going to light a fire under his rear end. I honestly think we need to spell Harold Landry more. 88% of the snaps, I don't think, is the way you bring a guy back from an ACL injury. So we need to limit his snaps a little bit more. Maybe don't make Caleb Farley, good grief, Caleb Murphy inactive. Go ahead and bring him in. And then we get Caleb Farley, Arden Key, Rashad Weaver, and Harold Landry. You get those 4 guys on a constant rotation where they get to rest. Now we're talking. Okay, now we're talking about fully rested dudes, that get 3-4 reps, and then they get to go out of the game and spell 3 or 4 reps. And then they come back in the game for 3 or 4 reps. I mean, even if your defense is on the field all the time, your edges are going to be fresh. Also, I was shocked that Azeez Al-Shaair wasn't more present. And I think he was frustrated by it. You could even see it as far as like he wanted to tackle people so hard. There was one point where he was there was a gang tackle going on, like 2 or 3 Titans were tackling one Saints person, and Al-Shaair was on the backside of that. And I think it was Hooker that he grabbed a hold of or whatever. But I mean, he almost tackled Hooker trying to tackle the other guy. And Hooker turns around and looks at him like, dude, come on, man. What are you doing? He even holds up his arms and I mean, I can read by his body language that he is totally asking Al-Shaair, what are you doing, man? It's me, Blue. The funny part about that to me is it just shows the frustration of him as an athlete that he's not getting the production that he feels like he should get. So therefore, as an athlete, whenever I couldn't do that, I would immediately, the next time I was able to perform, I would perform at the highest level I possibly could. I would push myself in training and all the way up until the next event, whatever that event may be. But I would push myself very, very hard if I had a bad game or a bad day as an athlete. That is just the mentality that I had, and I kind of expect most athletes to have the same mentality. Maybe they don't, maybe they do. I don't know. But that is what I believe, and I hope that you're right. As far as the other hot takes for the game goes, I mean, I guess the defense hot take isn't going to be great, but I think the defense, instead of like the Saints where they go in and kind of get hot, and then kind of faded in the second half, I don't think that happens. I think they get hot and they stay hot. I also think that Like I said, Amani Hooker's not going to play. I think they should rotate the edges more. Don't think Tierra Tart's going to play. So I guess there's some people that Fulton might not play. So I guess there's going to be some people out on defense that might alter what our defense looks like. But I don't think that it's going to alter it too much to an effect that we're going to have a bad game. I still think we're going to pressure Hubert a lot. I still think we're going to shut the run down, period. So there you go. I mean, our defense is pretty much going to be what we saw last Sunday. Our offense, on the other hand, I hope is not the same of what we saw last Monday. I hope it's what we saw, just, executed well. I hope the quarterback executes well. I hope the blocking is better executed. And I hope that to be honest, everybody's to blame here. Even Derrick Henry, even the King. I love the King, but when they went to the Big Cat offense where Derrick Henry was in the Wildcat with Tajay Spears behind him, he gets the ball, he takes off left. There is a huge hole. Man, I could drive a semi-truck through that hole. If he takes that cut, nobody can stop him for a touchdown. He gets the momentum. Nobody can stop him for a touchdown, man. That's in 7 points. But he didn't. He missed the hole. He cut late and got tackled. I think he gained like 2 yards or 3 yards. My point is that execution, I think everybody was a little rusty. I think we've knocked the rust off now, and I think we're ready to go. I expect a big game from Derrick Henry. I expect a bounce back game from Ryan Tannehill. So obviously I'm expecting a lot of offensive production. I expect the Chargers not to have a lot of offensive production. Basically, I expect us to shut the run down, make them one-dimensional, and then rush the pass and basically get Hubert into either throwing quick balls to where we can jump the routes or just making him nervous to where he just throws up ducks that we can get, just like they did to us last week with Tannehill, is what I'm hoping we can do to Hubert. Because our pass rush, honestly, is probably the best in the NFL. If you got any argument, I would love to hear it. So that's pretty much going to be it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up on that. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm solo tonight. Oh, also, real quick, I wanted to say, if you are not following us on all the social medias that we have Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and now we are on the PSF app. Please download that. That is on the Apple and Google Play Store. You can get it for Android or Apple. It is a totally new way of getting your sports. It's actually really cool. That's kind of why I got into it, because I think it's innovative and I think it's the new. Honestly, I think this is going to overtake most of the sports apps that are out there nowadays, because you can get all your sports information on your localized teams. You can pick which teams you want. They are all there they're all lined up for you in all separate chat rooms. They have media casters that are available for you to instantly chat with at any time. It is incredibly different. It's something that I've never seen before, and I'm actually really excited to be a part of. So if you haven't yet, go download the PSF app. That's Pro Sports Fans app on the Google Play or the Apple Store. I can't talk tonight, and I'm sorry about that. But go download that, and then look me up at Maximus Titan Fan, all one word, and find me on the Titans chat. Look me up. Hook me up. We'll have a good time. We do basically like a Manning cast thing. It's basically like my show, but uncensored. So you get to see me completely unfiltered, which will be a little bit fun, I think. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the show. I know I did. And you guys enjoy yourselves. Be good. And I didn't give my score prediction. Holy cow, man, I'm off my game tonight. All right, so score prediction is going to be, obviously, I think the Titans are going to win. Very much like last week, I think it's going to be pretty close to 28, 24, 14, something like that. I don't, thank you. I don't expect a whole lot from the Chargers offense. Even though they are electric, I think they're missing some of their key players, and I think it makes them one-dimensional, and I think that makes it easier for us to take advantage of them. So there you go. There's my breakdown. You guys be good to yourselves. Love one another. Maximus Titan fan, anywhere you go on social media. Titans Global Podcast, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, or X as they call it now. Still going to call it Twitter forever. Anyway, much love. Go Titans. Tighten up, everybody. We'll see you later.